like eating 30 fruits and then experiencing some sort of consummation-related frenzy. So are the games of our lives. I am a Yoshi, and these are the games of our lives. Super Mario and Pokemon and all the games that took us to another place and made us want to keep playing all night. These are the games of our lives.
Welcome to the Games of Our Lives podcast. My name is Bill, as always, with Tony, and today we're going to talk about some dang old video games. This week's focus, of course, the Nintendo 64 classic from 1997, Yoshi's Story.
97?
Yeah, 97.
Oh, man. Wow, I was a little boy. I was a 5-year-old boy.
It was one of the games that made us who we are, and it came out a lot longer ago than I remembered.
Facts.
So are the games of our lives. But before we dive into Yoshi's Story here, there's a lot of news that happened in the video game sphere over the last week or so. It's kind of insane. Just a couple of little things to tie up that we've talked about in the past. Pokemon Go, after the outcry of fans, basically upset that the radius has shrunk down from Niantic's decision to bring the radius back to what it normally was for catching Pokemon and spinning Pokestops and gyms and whatnot. They buckled, and they're like, you know what? Fine, have your 80-meter radius back. Please stop yelling at us. We just want your money.
Couldn't agree more. If you complain enough, you will get your way. No, I'm just kidding. It's weird because I think they do just want everyone to be happy so they can make more money ultimately, and they probably realize that more people will play. I really stopped playing, going out and stopping at stuff. Not like I'd spend money on the game anyway, but just because I was like, man, I don't feel like having to drive a little bit further from this parked spot to like reach something else, and I just stopped. So maybe they're like, alright, for the players it would be good, and it really is. It makes the game a little more fun when you go out, that things are a little bit more accessible.
Well, not for nothing, but the 80 meters, like the increase of 80 meters, I don't think it really changes the meta that much, because it's not like they're saying, all right, everybody's allowed to spoof now. They're saying, all right, you can now reach across the street without having to get hit by a car. Like that,
more or less.
That's the difference.
More or less, yeah.
So, listen, if you're a Pokemon Go fan, you're probably really happy. I mean, I don't think this is a bad move. I think it's fine. I think a game is meant to evolve over time, especially if it is a game that gets constant updates. And, you know, this is just one of the quality of life changes that I think makes sense for the people.
Updates? This game, let's talk about where's Kecleon. That's going to be my new thing until he is released. Gen 8, Zacian and Zamazenta are out, but Kecleon is not. So
what if Kecleon has actually been out this whole time, just nobody's been able to see him on the radar map?
Oh my god. You, sir, are a genius.
Yo, Niantic, hire me. Hire ya boy. That is kind of wild that Kecleon's not in the game.
It's the little stuff like that irks me about the game, you know? Maybe.
So Gen 3 will be here soon enough, I'm sure.
Gen 3?
Isn't Kecleon Gen 3?
Yeah.
So maybe we'll have a full Gen 3 by the time Pokemon Go is done.
I was going to say, yeah, we're on Gen 6 and they didn't finish Gen 3 yet. I'm just like, it's bad enough they release like one Pokemon every 2 weeks and make everyone, well, like 2 or 3 at a time, but like make everyone go sick. But how about you just release just Kecleon, and then we could just close that chapter, you know?
Right.
Yeah, this isn't a Pokemon Go complaining episode, so I'll stop more at a time and let you carry on with the news, good sir. Sorry.
Well, speaking of closing chapters, it looks like Pokemon Unite is finally closing a chapter on the Gen 1 starters, now that Blastoise is going to be coming to Pokemon Unite starting September 1st. You get to play as Charizard, you get to play as Venusaur, you get to play as Pikachu, but a wide open spot that's been missing has been Blastoise. So the fact that he's coming to the game, I mean, it's got a lot of people happy, obviously, because you get to start as Squirtle. And like, what's not to love about slamming people with a water cannon, you know?
Yeah, no, it's fun.
I still haven't played Pokemon Unite yet, but someday my Torterra will come.
Yeah, Torterra could get put in the game, and then we'll be like, all right, what have we been playing this week? And you'll be like, yeah, I found some indie PS4 game where you're in a kitchen with like vegan meatballs and it's basketball, and it's like $15 on the eShop, and yeah, I've been playing that because that's what you come up with. Always good stuff at the what we've been playing.
Actually, vegan meatball basketball is a pretty fantastic game, and at its price point, $12, you can't beat it.
$12? I don't have money like that.
Well, listen, it's them indie dollars.
Yeah, they go on a different pay scale, like Mario, Pokemon, any new game that comes out, Walmart, $50. That's where I get my new games. But indie games, honestly, they're like, yeah, we were just going to charge more in comparison. Or maybe it's less. I don't know. Good for them for making good games.
Numbers are weird and hard.
Oh, yes, very much.
Speaking of new characters, we got Blastoise in Pokemon Unite, and the upcoming Nickelodeon fighting game that's going to be coming up, which, I think the whole fighting game community is really hyped up about this game. Just had 2 new reveals this week. CatDog and April O'Neil from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are coming to Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, which is pretty fire. I ain't gonna lie.
Dude, CatDog is a staple. I can't believe I didn't think about CatDog when going through the roster in my head of potential characters, but yeah, that's I got real hype when I saw that. And also didn't know who April O'Neil was, to tell you the truth. Did not know until you just said, that she's in the Turtles. Yeah, did not know that. Tell you the truth.
With this game, we have 2 of the Ninja Turtles already revealed. We have Leonardo and Michelangelo, and now April O'Neil, which means you gotta assume that Raphael and Donatello are coming down the pipeline.
Definitely.
But the inclusion of CatDog is just fantastic to me. I love that idea for him as a fighter.
Not sure.
Definitely one of God's mistakes, but...
Oh, whoa.
But I loved the show growing up.
Me too. Remember Winslow?
Winslow's a fantastic, terrible roommate, but a fantastic character.
Tip of the hat to Winslow.
Shout out Winslow. So we got Tony Hawk pairing up with the water company Liquid Death, selling, I think it's 100 skateboards that are painted with the blood of Tony Hawk. That's kind of insane, right? Like, that's, talk about a collector's item, but the blood of the living legend Tony Hawk on a skateboard.
Nah, he tweaking.
He's got to be the first person to ever do something like this, right?
Nah, he tweaking.
Like, he never put his blood into a shoe or anything. He just put it on a board,
Nah, he tweaking.
Would you buy one of these boards?
Nah, he tweaking.
You know who else is tweaking? Heritage Auctions tweaking the prices of video games.
Here we go.
Because here's the thing. We've talked about on this show a few times now about a couple of video games that are just old school classics selling for way over market value by like at least $20 to $30. And by that I mean almost a cool $1 million over asking price. But it turns out that this may have been a scam from the get-go, just to hike up prices of video games, kind of similar to like what happened with the Pokemon cards earlier in 2021 and like late 2020, that this was all just a ploy to make video games more expensive, retro games more expensive specifically. Tony, what are your thoughts on this?
Wow, so many feels, because this whole time I thought that things were kind of fishy. Things didn't add up, especially the numbers. I definitely don't... Man, so many opinions. I definitely... I don't want to say disgusted, but real angry that people just don't care, especially when it comes to money, I think, especially. So for a couple people to, but basically all I want to say, I can't do a better job of explaining it than the video that I watched a couple nights ago. It's a YouTuber named Carl. I want to say Jobs, Jobst. They made like a almost an hour long video. They did all their homework and connected all the dots and pieces and just figured out that the people who are high up in these companies, WADA and Heritage Auctions, are in cahoots, and they are just manipulating and causing just weird speculation and doing all just corrupt, fraudulent things, and he just nails it with this video. He breaks it down completely, shows proof that this guy tried to do something like this but with coins in the 80s, and now he's he lost a lawsuit actually with that, I believe, and now trying his hand at it again. Like, everything is all adding up that this has been nothing but garbage. But the sad part about it is there are so many of us collectors that truly love this, and it's so weird to maybe it's hand in hand with the Pokemon card stuff. Like, if you like video games, then there's a good chance you like Pokemon stuff, or at least know enough about Pokemon collecting or Pokemon card collecting. At some point in your life, you probably collected Pokemon cards, right? As a video game player, maybe, unless you're strictly Xbox, PlayStation, but I would think that a lot of us did even then. And
I feel like if you grew up in the 90s, you really had that like Pokemon was just part of the culture.
Exactly. So, like, to see both of these things get hit in such weird ways in the past few months is definitely a weird feeling. It makes you feel like, oh man, I should have held on to my stuff. But, like, I feel like maybe that was going to happen with both of these things at some point, because things always seem to be going higher in price anyway. But just the way that, even with Pokemon cards, the way that, YouTubers and people just started blowing up the prices, and now with the games, it just seems, especially with the games, it seems like it's just a couple, a handful of greedy people that are ruining an entire market of something so cherished and beloved by so many people, and or so loved, not beloved, and yeah, they're just pieces of dog doo-doo on the bottom of your shoe. And I am so happy that they're getting called out for this nonsense. I feel like I'm not really, even though I just babbled for 25 minutes, I feel like I didn't say anything that I wanted to, but I couldn't be more happy that they're getting called out for it. But how happy can I be, because they did it already, So I'm like, I'm very against WADA grading. I'm very against WADA and the auctions and these people, and I will never get anything ever. I will never buy a piece of anything that has the word WADA written on it. They are scum.
So I have some Pokemon cards that I got graded by this company called WADA. They seem really reputable, and they told me that I had a first edition Venusaur, and it's worth $8 billion. You want to buy it?
$10.
Let's split the difference and call it lunch at Wendy's.
Lunch at Wendy's, and you gotta throw me a button and a paperclip. And I can't eat much at Wendy's except fries.
So I have a piece of string and a mechanical pencil.
I always hate doing this, but what color is the string?
The string is pink.
Okay. Keep it cool. Yeah, I guess we could probably work something out for that if you want.
It's a deal.
Yes! I don't even care about the Pokemon card.
I'd say we're both winners here. So, Animal Crossing sneakers by Puma are a thing now. So, I don't know if you guys remember, but for Super Mario's 35th anniversary, Nintendo teamed up with Puma to come up with a set of sneakers that I can only describe as absolutely hideous.
That's a little excessive. They weren't that bad.
The ones, listen, the ones that came out for the 35th anniversary were pretty bad. But there actually was like a second wave of Puma X Nintendo sneakers that came out that actually looked pretty fire. They had a couple of sneakers that are like NES Mario based, and they have like a much more subtle design. And I thought those looked really nice, to be honest with you. specifically the NES Puma that had just like the Super Mario Bros. Cover, and it just had like the NES like color palette to it, which I thought was just like a nice look. But now there's a brand new pair of sneakers on the run here, and they are Puma X Animal Crossing, and they have the color scheme for the Animal Crossing New Horizons, which is very pastel, like blue and green and like a light brown kind of color scheme going on. I mean, it does fit the vibes for Animal Crossing. I will give it that.
I like the shoes, but for the past little while, I've had a hard time competing with people, or not even competing with them, but just getting used to the idea that I'm going to have to compete with people to get things like these. When the Mario kicks came out, I wanted to get one pair specifically, and I was on it like a month before. I was like, oh, these shoes are coming out. I got it marked. I got my alarm set when I get up early when I cop these, and I don't really ever do that for sneakers. That's something I don't collect, even though I find them pretty cool for the most part. I got up at like 6 in the morning. They weren't available yet. They said they were going to be up at 10. Boom, 10 o'clock. Up, still not available. 10:01, 10:02, still not available. I'm like, what is this? Like, come on now, I waited till like probably like 10:05, 10:06. They still weren't available. I'm like, I'm not gonna sit here all day. This is trash. My friend texts me at like 10:22. He's like, did you see the shoes are up and available? And I was like, oh, okay, let me go check real quick. And I do, and my size was already sold out. And I was like, dude, like, what do I have to do? Like, I'm already here well before the time and right on time. And am I really supposed to waste like just 15-20 minutes because they don't know like how to get their stuff together, and then I have to be like, oh, okay, I'll get it, like, nope, too late. So,
and it's really tricky too, because we live in a really wild market for collector's items these days, where scalpers really have like free reign over a lot of these items coming out.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, apparently there's these things called scalper bots.
The worst.
That will basically, like, they'll get something bought up in a second. And then this turns into a whole debate where, what's the morality behind a scalper bot? Like, is it actually fair? The answer is no. The answer is no. Scalper bots are not fair.
Definitely not fair.
I've definitely gotten to arguments with people, one person that you and I both know specifically, about, like, scalpers and people who are like, especially like when like the PlayStation first came out and people like bought like 10 PlayStations just so they could sell them, and
PlayStation 1s,
PS5s. And the response I usually get is, get better at buying things on the internet, which is the most dumb and ignorant thing in the world, because first of all, if I was on the internet when something goes on sale at 10 o'clock and it's sold out at 10 o'clock in 2 seconds, that's not my fault.
Get good.
Like, it's literally get good. And I'm like, you people are actually, like, trash. And I'm sorry if I'm calling anybody out who's listening to this podcast, but I won't apologize for this take. If you're a scalper and, like, you're just trash, all right? You're trash to me. If you're trying to take a PlayStation out of, like, another person's hands just so you could, like, make an extra couple $100. And now that Target doesn't even allow you to go into the store to buy things, it's really hard.
Yeah, that's definitely, it just creates a whole conundrum. This is a Yoshi story episode, by the way. It creates a whole weird conundrum, because now you have to have the employees of the stores there for like maybe a midnight release that they don't want to do, or maybe they have to get in really early and over prepare for these animals. Let's just call it for what it is, right? And,
yeah, of course.
Even though we would both be waiting in that line, I definitely would. I don't want to speak for you, but...
Oh, what? I literally sat in a line at a Target because I had a website on my phone that said the PlayStation 5 was in stock in this building, and we showed up at 4 in the morning before they opened, and there was a line about 10-15 people long by the time the doors opened, and they're like, actually, you have to buy these online. You can't even buy them in store.
Oh my god.
Like, we have them in the building, and we cannot sell them in person. We have to sell them online.
What?
I hate Target for that.
That was Target?
That was Target, yeah.
Oh man, wow. That is
They're like we straight up have the console, and there were like 5 of us who were just there, just being like, well, we also have $500 in our pocket to give to you. We will do it right now. Transaction over. And they're like, they'll be on sale sometime today on Target.com, but we're not going to tell you when. And I'm like, this is trash.
That is awful. That is so bad.
It's just poor business practice, in my opinion.
Awful. Wow.
Because with Target, like, people do have like the bots to get things like right immediately, and it's just really, it's hard.
Like, if you're able to get one of something and you want to sell that thing, then that's fine. If it's a $500 console that's selling for $1,000 and you're like, you know what, I like the business end of it personally, and I like being able to go to a store that has like a deal that's like, oh, buy 2 games, get 1 free. In that third game, if I could find a game that covers the cost of the first 2 games when I sell it, then I got 2 games for free, and I love doing little flips like that in the whole business aspect of it. But I think when something like this comes out, like a PS5, if you can get one, you should only really be able to get 1 like per transaction. You know what I mean? Like, all right, I waited in Target, I got in line. I'm just making this up, but I got my PS5. You know what? I'm just gonna sell it. But when there's people like us, you're doing that. I was pulled over on the side of the road because I knew Walmart was gonna update their stock every 3 hours. I pulled into a parking lot, and then I checked it again when I got home 3 hours later, on my phone and on my computer, right when it hit like 6 o'clock or 9 o'clock or 3 o'clock on the side of the road. Literally nothing. Like, you could put it in your cart, but then it's just like, nah, you're all set. And that's when the bots are definitely a problem, because now you have people right out abusing the accessibility that these companies are choosing to allow us to use. And I think it's I understand with COVID, you don't want a lot of people waiting in line and fighting each other physically and making contact, and that's not a good look for the companies to have that. But yeah, see why I say there's so many factors to it, because it's like, all right, so we're just going to sell it online, and that's going to be awful for people too, except for the people that we're selling the system. We're getting paid for every console we put out, but now other people are making money. A lot of people aren't getting them that can't afford to spend $1,000 on a $500 retail console. The COVID stuff, the companies, it's messy. And I don't even remember what we're talking about, to tell you the truth.
Just get good at buying things online. It's that easy, forehead.
I am going to wear nothing but Crocs for the rest of my little life, because I can go into any store, and I hope my life is long and great like everyone else's. I wish that for everybody. Need to put a little asterisk there. But I'm not competing with people for a pair of shoes. Like, that aggravates me so much. I waited in Walmart until midnight for like 4 hours for a gold Mario amiibo. Wag of the finger to Nintendo. Months later, oh, they're on the shelf at Best Buy. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, the planned scarcity is something that like Nintendo specifically has troubles with. They've got their own like issues that we could totally delve into, because that's been a problem with Nintendo-specific things for a long time. But, it was really interesting to see it happen with the PlayStation release. And I just feel like secondhand markets are really, like, they take advantage of a good thing, and sometimes that ends up ruining the experience for a lot of people who don't have the knowledge or wherewithal, or even just ability to be on a website at between the hours of 3 p.m. and 3 p.m. in 0 minutes and 0.03 seconds.
Get good.
You know what's good?
What's good, man?
Yoshi's story for the Nintendo 64.
Yo. Sheet story for the Nintendo 64, you said?
Yeah, I'm talking about Yoshi's story for the Nintendo 64, which I misspoke earlier. It actually came out in 1998 here in the United States.
I had a feeling. I was like, there's no way I was 5. When I was 5, I was still on, like, Sonic 1 for Genesis. I don't even know if I was playing Mega Bomberman on Genesis yet. I don't even think I had Pokemon until, like, 99. And Smash and stuff was definitely like 98. But I didn't want to call you out, but I guess I did because here we are, brother. What are you going to do about it?
I mean, it was March of 98, whereas in Japan it was December of 97. So it's like, it was a 3-month difference.
That's fair. That's fair.
It was barely 1998. But anyway, I digress. Yoshi's Story is a side-scrolling platformer game, which is basically a follow-up. I'm not sure that it's necessarily a sequel, but it's definitely a follow-up to the Super Nintendo Yoshi platformer Yoshi's Island for the Super Nintendo, which I just said Super Nintendo like 3 times, Super Nintendo. And this game is actually pretty wild. So the premise of this game, by the way, for those who are new to this story, you play as Yoshi, and you play as a bunch of Yoshis, actually. And they have a tree that provides them with all the fruit that they need, and it makes them very happy. It's called the Happy Fruit Tree. Lo and behold, this little ruffian named Baby Bowser, sees that these Yoshis are loving this tree, and he's like, you know what? I want what they have. I want happiness. Time to steal their happy fruit tree. And the Yoshis are like, I guess it's time to get our fruit back. Let's do this. Storybook style. This is the first game that Nintendo really jumped in on the paper aesthetic for a video game, I feel like. And for some reason, they've literally never turned back.
They love it. I love it too, honestly.
I'd say that they've done it with varying degrees of success. I think Yoshi's Story was an awesome start to the paper series in the Nintendo universe.
Agreed.
The game plays out like a storybook, and there's an opening scene where you're being told the backstory of Yoshi, and there's a song that plays in the background. Tony, can you give us a sample of that?
Ba 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 doodle 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 ba 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 da 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 da. Something like that.
I have a tear in my eye because the nostalgia just hit me so hard. That was beautiful. Oh my gosh. So this game featured 24 levels across 6 worlds, and you got to play as a slew of different colored Yoshis. This was the second game where you played as different colored Yoshis, but it's the first game that you get to choose which colored Yoshi you get to play as. Listen, I was a light blue Yoshi. That was my Yoshi. What was your Yoshi playing through this game? I feel like everybody had one.
When I was a kid, it probably was also the light blue Yoshi. Although I will say they're all my beautiful little Yoshi family, and I love them all. But I think the light blue one had the purple kicks, right?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely that one, I think.
And Yoshi's Story, I really liked this the Yoshi select screen because you had 6 different Yoshis to play as from the get, and they kind of acted as like your lives, because if Yoshi were to die, he would get kidnapped by Bowser Jr., Baby Bowser, and when you go to the character select screen, that color Yoshi is missing. So when you died, you lost that Yoshi. I don't remember if you could get Yoshis back or if you just had a limited number of Yoshis for a run. A single run through this game only consists of 6 levels. While there are 24 levels in the game, the story plays out in chapters, and each level is a chapter that you get to choose one of 4 levels to play through. And the way this game is played out, you play as Yoshi, and in order to beat a level, instead of having just like a defined end of a level, the levels would kind of have these like branching paths that had different like warps to different areas, and you'd kind of go all over this just whole area. And the objective that you had was to eat 30 pieces of fruit to move on to the next level.
Mom.
That's how. One more time for the kids.
Mom.
And you do that 30 times. And across these levels, you had different things you could collect outside of the fruits. You had the fruits themselves, and then you had the super happy hearts, which basically made Yoshi kind of invincible for a short period of time. But based on how many hearts you collected in a level would dictate how many levels you get to choose from in the next chapter. So the 6 chapters in this game, chapter 1 is the beginning, they call it, but it's your typical like grassy, very neutral kind of area. The next level they had was the cave, and there were a whole bunch of different cave situations that you could be in. There was like a lava cave, there was like a dark spooky cave. You got to hang out with Bone Dragon. I mean, which is one of the coolest names for an enemy, period. And then page 3 was the summit, which you're like in the clouds or in a really tall tower. And page 3 was kind of cool because it marked like a halfway point for the game. So at the end of every single page 3 level, you had to face a boss. And Tony, who is your favorite boss from these page 3 levels?
The cotton candy guy.
And how did you defeat the cotton candy guy?
About like 45 more times, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, I think you had to lick him 100 times.
Really?
Or at least it felt that way. I don't know what the actual number is.
What a good boss.
Yeah, it was just a guy jumping around that you had to lick 1 billion times. I liked the genie in the lamp.
Oh, okay.
But I'm trying to... His name was Cloudjin.
Cloudjin.
And he was like a weird... Yeah, he was just like a weird genie that you had to throw eggs at. He had like spike balls that he threw at you, and it was like a whole situation.
Is that the third level of page 3?
Yeah, the 3rd level of page 3.
Ah, okay. I'm very, very unfamiliar with playing this game as a kid. I mean, this game takes literally like 10 minutes to beat the whole game. I'm just kidding, but it does not take a long time to run through all the pages.
Yeah, you can run through 6 pages in probably less than a half an hour.
Probably, if you play just fast and well, you know.
Right.
Even if you play bad, you probably still could, but the game's not about good or bad. It's about... actually, there's definitely some skill to this game, I would say. There's I don't know, it's a cute game. It's not the most challenging, but as a kid when I played it, I never collected all the different hearts to go to the different levels on the next pages. So I played a very linear style of this game, I believe, and now looking at it in front of me and seeing all the different, levels that there are, it makes me want to go back and go online and look at where it makes me want to find out how to beat the game 100%.
I mean, it is worth it. I love that at the end of every single level, there's a little story situation where it goes back to the book view. It goes back to it's a pop-up book, really, that you're playing through. And it'll give a little highlight of the level that you played through and then introduce the next chapter. And the whole time that it's going through this, all you're hearing in the background is about 26 Yoshis just belting out, "Hey, it's your boy Pete Francesca. I got some cannolis for sale." And then the page turns, and it's great. It's great. Pretty awesome that Luigi makes a cameo too. So after this cloud level, you have a jungle-themed world where you get to go through like a nice little tropical area. A lot of piranha plants going on. Page 5 is an ocean, which I love it because there's a whole pirate Shy Guy section of this level, which was really fun. And then you had page 6, which was the finale. And at the end of every single page 6 level, which, by the way, the music for page 6 was always incredible. It had like a very like minimalist, Nutcracker, sweet, almost sounding vibe to the level. So it was very quiet while you were going through these very hectic levels. It was very kind of cool juxtaposition there. And then at the end of each level, you fought this little lad, Baby Bowser, who had stolen your tree, and you would just give him the old 1-2 skidoo. And when you do that, you save the happy fruit tree. Turns out Bowser Jr. says something along the lines of, "I don't even like fruit anyway. I just wanted to take your happiness, and this tree didn't make me happy, so just fine, take it. I'm going to go cry about it." And then the Yoshis are so happy, and they go on their way, and you get to play through the story again 4 more times at least.
And that was the beginning of where Nintendo decided to take Yoshi and Donkey Kong in terms of making them complete collectathons and very linear style games, even though this game wasn't linear in the sense of you had to go to different levels, but you had to, because you had to collect different happy hearts. So it kind of was.
The happy hearts were definitely pretty well hidden in some of the levels. Just like unintuitive areas to check, or just absolutely like for no reason, just way out of the way situations, which it's fine, whatever. You're able to collect 4 happy hearts or 3 happy hearts in every single level, but getting them can be a chore. Another self-imposed thing you can do in this game is eat only melons as a form of getting through the level. There's at least 30 melons in every level, the most populous fruit, and you get a score multiplier at the end of your run based on how many of each type of fruit you had, but you get a multiplier for eating fruits in a row. So if you're to get like the highest score you can, the best thing to do is eat 30 melons. That's hard because sometimes those melons are locked behind a mini game, and if you don't score well enough in that mini game, one example is a balance mini game where you get 10 melons and you have to run through a little platforming gauntlet while keeping the balance of these melons stacked up on top of Yoshi. And if you miss out on any of them, you may be short a couple of melons for the level. Also, this game introduced Yoshi sniffing. I feel like you could just like walk around as Yoshi and like he could sniff out like hidden areas, like places you could ground pound for either fruits or coins or something.
Well, with a schnoz like that, he's got to be able to pick stuff up, right, with its nose a little bit, with being pretty good at smelling.
It's true.
Also to your point of the mini games, I think that's where the skill level starts to come into play with a game like this, because it's not, you could beat this game very, very quickly. One of the shortest games from like A to Z, but it's the in-between stuff. It's the, do you want to get all the melons? Do you want to go for the score? You don't have to care about the score at all. You could beat the game in 20 minutes and put the game down and be like, all right, that was fun. But if you really want to go all out, there's definitely challenges to master within the game, which I really like. This dare I say, this is kind of a stupid thing to say.
Oh, no.
Never mind. I was
out
gonna
with
say,
it.
No, come on, don't make me. Fine. I was gonna say, if you're gonna twist my arm, I was gonna say, I can't even get the words to come off my lips. I was gonna say this game is ahead of its time a little bit, but the Super Nintendo had Yoshi's Island, and I mean, is Yoshi's story really ahead of its time when Super Nintendo had a game like that and so many other games? But for developing an idea of stuff in that nature, I guess it was a pioneer.
I really think the split path platforming.
Say that 3 times fast. Right now.
Split path platforming. Split path platforming. Split path blah 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 blah.
Nailed it.
10 out of 10. I think the split path platforming was pretty unique at the time. I don't know. I'm trying to, off the top of my head, think of games that had something like that, and all that I can think of is Shadow the Hedgehog. Having not various exits, but like by collecting these super happy hearts and being able to unlock future levels, I thought was a really unique thing at the time. I thought it was a really cool idea that Nintendo tried out. This game also had 2 unlockable Yoshis, where if you went through a specific section of platforming in 2 different levels in the game, you could unlock both a black Yoshi and a white Yoshi. And whenever you went to one of your friends' houses growing up and they had the black and white Yoshis, you're like, all right, this guy's a gamer. Because, listen, when I first had the game, one, I didn't even know black and white Yoshi existed. And I was told about it in school, like, oh man, like, did you get the black Yoshi or the white Yoshi? And I was like, is this like Mew under the truck?
That's what I was just thinking about.
I'm like, am I having my leg pulled here? Like, come on now, come on now.
That's all we had back then. We were in a not like a NES Genesis growing up era, but still in an era where crazy games were coming out, but we couldn't just access all the secrets of them, which is
right. And it's not like
cool.
We were like 7 and 8 years old, when these games came out, and we weren't internet savvy, and we barely had internet. I remember when I was 8 years old, I'm pretty sure, I don't even know that my house had internet when I was 8 years old.
Dude, I was coding when I was 6.
I can't compete with that coolness, but
nah, I'm only kidding. I can't even read.
Shout out GameFAQs for paving the way for dispelling a lot of these rumors. And also, I'm not gonna lie, back in Gen 1 with Pokemon, I definitely did try to do everything I possibly could to get to that truck. Like, I traded for an Oddish, that new cut, so I could skip the SS Anne, or as the anime calls it, the Saint Anne. Weird.
They call it that?
Yeah, they call it the Saint Anne. Oh, by the way, another piece of news, just in the middle of us talking about Yoshi Story, this is a Yoshi Story episode. The Switch just came out with a new app called Pokemon TV, and I'm pretty sure you can watch most, if not all, of the anime.
Nuh-uh.
Which is kind of insane, right?
That's pretty cool. If you can watch all of it. I mean, not a big Pokemon. Out of all the Pokemon stuff that I love and collect, the anime is very far on the bottom. But still cool that they did that.
I recently finished watching the Indigo League, which was actually a pretty good time. I'm not gonna lie, it definitely had some nostalgic beats to it. I think most of the first season is on Netflix. For whatever reason, it stops before Ash actually goes to Indigo Plateau. Like, there's 60 some odd, I think there are 70 some odd episodes in the whole series, but for that season, and it stops at like episode 50 something, and I'm like, that's a little weird. But hey, speaking of Pokemon though, is Yoshi a Pokemon?
I think so.
Like, it checks off a lot of the boxes, right? Like, what's one thing that we know about Pokemon? It's that they only say their name. What are the words that Yoshi knows?
You want me to say it?
Yeah, I want you to say all of the words that Yoshi knows.
Alright, here it goes. Yoshi.
Case in point. I mean, he curls up in an egg, which could just be the Mario universe's version of a Pokeball. So, I mean, what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments on YouTube, or in your 5-star review of us on Apple, or a comment on Twitter. Is Yoshi a Pokemon? And if so, what type of Pokemon would Yoshi be? Like, if he had a typing, what type would Yoshi be? Do you think it would be color dependent?
Ooh.
Like where like each color is a different type, or do you think like just Yoshi is Yoshi's a dragon type or something like that?
That'd be sick if you were a dragon. Also, what would a shiny Yoshi look like? Would all the color variants have their own shiny variant?
Ooh.
All these questions.
I don't think Game Freak could handle Yoshi as a Pokemon because there's just way too many variables. Is there a Pokemon that has like 8 different color palettes just as it exists?
Well, Cast Form has 4 different forms, and so does Sawsbuck. So does Deerling. Deerling has straight up just different color palettes.
Are the shinies just like, we're just lightening the shades for this color? It's just sure, a little actually. Lighter.
It could be. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what it was, but I actually couldn't tell you what the shinies look like off the top of my head.
I do think it would be hilarious if the Yoshi colors were just like on a wheel, and like the shiny Yoshi was just the next color on the wheel. So you're like, I have a shiny green Yoshi, and it's actually a red Yoshi. And you're like, well, I have a regular red Yoshi.
And everyone would still be like, yeah, I gotta complete my shiny dex though, bro. Trade me, please.
People would scramble for these shiny Yoshis that are actually just Oh, Nintendo, please make this happen somehow. Insert Yoshi into the Pokedex.
Yeah. Oh, you know what they could do? All right, now I'm getting a little abstract. They give Yoshi like different like sneaker variants, and then they make the sneakers in real life, and we all have to like beat the shit out of each other to try to get them.
Oh man, just get good at scalping, bro.
Dude, Puma.com.
Yo, these Yoshi Pumas about to be insane. I actually thought you were going to go in a totally different direction. I thought you were going to be like, yo, what if Gen 9 just took place in the Mushroom Kingdom?
Oh, wow.
And the Pokemon were just like various Mario enemies.
Nah. I hope they never do that and let two great things be on their own.
That's fair. That's fair. We'll stick to the Pumas. Outside of Bone Dragon, do you have a favorite enemy in this game?
Let me look at this picture, see if any of these knuckleheads come to mind. They're all, they're all enemies, and they're all kind of scary. So I don't really like any of them per se.
The art style was very, it was wild, absolutely wild. It being one of the first 3D games, a lot of these enemies just like look very crude. And I feel like the only lasting character that came out of this was Lakitu's Cloud, Randall. I mean, shout out Randall for being, honestly, maybe the most important thing Yoshi's story brought to Nintendo. I mean, without Randall, Yoshi's Island would be a terrible stage in Melee.
Yeah, he wouldn't even be on there. It would just be people not keeping track of something time-based in their head and being able to focus on the game more, even though that takes a lot of focus to remember that timer. But no, I don't have a favorite enemy. I don't think most of them are cute, but, let's be real. They're all trying to kill me, and that's not something that I could have a favorite of. Unless they're trying to kill me with kindness. But still murder. But also, metaphorically, it's just a nice gesture. So, and I don't think any of these have shown that gesture. So, they could all go to hell, I guess is what I'm saying.
Wow, okay. I'm trying to think, like, what else to really talk about with this game. I mean,
We've been talking about a 10-minute game for 15 minutes. That's already a little redundant, There's nothing. You've turned all the pages. You've got all the color variants, the whole Pokemon conspiracy theory behind Yoshi. You've even, delved way deeper into the game by a long shot at this point.
And you know what the crazy part is? I've still never 100%ed this game.
Me either, dude. Never. I suck at this game.
Alright, so here's the thing. The game's not hard, but the controls are pretty bad.
Okay, good.
I want to say it's just because 2D platforming with a control stick that, was one of the first of its kind definitely made the controlling for Yoshi weird, because you could control Yoshi in 8 directions. So I feel like this happened to me a lot. Speak for yourself as well, but sometimes when you'd be running with Yoshi in one direction, you'd accidentally be holding up or down, and it would bring Yoshi to a crawl, and Yoshi would start looking down while slowly running, and I'm just like, no, Yoshi, just continue going left or right. And Yoshi's like, no, Yoshi. And I'm like, that's not what I wanted you to do at all.
That's never happened to me. I don't even know what you're talking about. No, I'm kidding. I'm sure that's probably happened to me. Can you use the D-pad with this game?
I don't think so. I don't think you could use the D-pad for this game. And if you could, then, God, I was playing it like a dang old goofus this whole time.
A goofus. A goof and a doofus. Goofus. Gen 9. Giving you ideas for free. All you gotta do is listen to a couple episodes.
That's it. We're giving you the groundwork. You know what would be a cool Pokemon?
Chef Boyardee.
Chef Boyardee would be a great Pokemon. I was thinking the elephants with the stop signs that exist in this game for no reason. They're in the first world, and the only reason that they even exist is to teach you how to ground pound. And they're still to this day one of the worst enemies that exists in a video game. I remember hating them so much because ground pounding was hard sometimes because you had to go straight down when you jumped with the control stick. And given that it was a control stick, if you were even like a quarter of a degree off from down, Yoshi would just jump and land. And you're like, nope, ground pound, jump and land. Nope, ground pound, jump and land. Nope, ground pound.
I do remember that.
So Yoshi's Story, while it was such an important game for me growing up because I did play it, I played it a lot but didn't beat it a lot, if that made sense.
Me too.
Because I don't remember that this game actually saved like where you left off. Like I feel like you had to run through the 6 levels.
No, it saved.
Oh, did it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right before I reset my game, before we started recording, I wanted to see how many levels I had completed, and it said I was on page 4. So I was like, oh, you just pick up from story mode, or you can go to the I think it's like a time trial thing, and you could pick any level that you've completed.
Yeah, they have the time attack mode.
Yeah.
And that got you absolutely nothing for completing it.
Yes.
But hey, you could submit your high scores to Nintendo Power, and they may publish you in a high scores segment. So that was cool, I guess.
That's sick. I would frame that if they put it in a magazine or something. I'd be like, yeah, when I was 8, I made this magazine, and now I just take a picture of something and put it on Instagram, and it's the equivalent, but would have been in a Nintendo Power magazine. That'd be badass.
Did you have Nintendo Power growing up?
No, I didn't. I played the heck out of this game as a kid, but no, I didn't really get Nintendo Powers.
So I don't know if like my parents just really loved me or like something like that, but they got me Nintendo Power. I think they just parented me this way. I think they're like, he's going to read this magazine and he's not going to like act out of line. He's just going to play video games and read a magazine until he's 27 and moves out. And if that was their idea, gosh, it worked. It worked. Because from like the age of 5 until they stopped publishing Nintendo Power, I was a Nintendo Power subscriber.
What? You have all those still?
No. I don't have them all. But I remember taking every single issue of Nintendo Power came with an insert that was a poster that you could pull out, and I remember my whole room growing up until maybe I was like 13 or something like that. Every single month I would take out the poster and hang it on my wall. So at some point in my youth, I had just a wall filled with these posters.
Yo.
And I would go back and like reread like old issues of Nintendo Power. Like it was, oh my God, I did know how to read.
Oh my God, dude, what?
But like ever since Nintendo Power stopped publishing, I lost it.
Forgot how?
It's just not there anymore. I try and just the words don't appear.
Better to have loved and lost kind of thing, or?
You know what? I do look fondly back on those days. Yeah.
Wow.
I used to have a whole sled, like a plastic sled that I just filled with them under my bed, and whenever I wanted to read one, I would just pop it out and bada boom. You heard about kids having dirty magazines under their bed? Not this good Christian boy. It was 200 issues of Nintendo Power, baby. And then once I turned 16ish and I like started going to GameStop more, that turned into Game Informer pretty quick.
Wow. You bad boy.
And that's the story of Yoshi's Story for the Nintendo 64.
Come to think of it, hashtag one more thing. I think about a year ago I actually got, I don't think it was the Yoshi Story. It was either the Yoshi Story guide or the Nintendo Power of Yoshi Story, but I got the poster. The threefold one. Yeah, I have that still in there. And yeah, I'm hype about that. I got that as like a little gift actually.
That one I think was like a coming soon poster, I believe.
It's like the yellow and the green Yoshi, and then Dog the Bounty Hunter is in the middle, and they're standing on each side of them, and it just says, "Eat all your vegetables." And I'm not making that up.
That's actually hilarious. I do like that Dog the Bounty Hunter, who is, by the way, the third unlockable Yoshi in the game. I mean, it was one of the first crossover events that Nintendo ever did.
Yeah, really started things off on a strong foot.
Paving the way.
Can you have strong feet?
I mean, just ask Puma.
You're a jerk, dude. You are a jerk. Why would you say that?
Hey, you're the one asking about strong feet.
GG.
Wag your finger at me if you must.
No. Well played. I don't just go around wagging my finger when it's just out of anger. And yes, I'm very angry, but fair is fair. So I love you, and we'll get past this like we always do, off, camera.
I do have a wag of the finger though.
Let me hear it.
I was at a musical event last night. I live in a state that has way too many people, and driving to specific venues within this state can be an absolute nightmare. I'm shouting out San Francisco being one of the worst traffic cities in the gosh dang country. It took me an hour to go 1.2 miles, baby.
Wait a minute. How long did it take you?
To go 1.2 miles, it took us just about an hour.
What?
Yeah. Traffic was absolutely terrible, and trying to get to Oracle Park which is their like baseball stadium, just an absolute cluster for traffic. And it was just me and our friend Bubba were just sitting in the car, and we're just like, what is happening? Traffic was so terrible. So wag of the finger to California traffic, specifically Bay Area traffic, for just being the nightmare that it is. That's one part of California I'm not gonna miss when I move.
California girls, they're unforgettable. Dun 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 dun.
Oh, that's a great Weezer song.
Yeah, that was the show you saw last night, right?
Yeah, tip of the hat, by the way, to Weezer, Fall Out Boy, and Green Day for putting on one heck of a dang old show. My voice is ruined, as you can probably hear.
You sound great, baby. You sound great. I've seen Green Day twice in concert. And you're welcome if you were just about to say
They put on a great show.
They really do. Yeah, they know how to get down.
They really get the crowd involved, which I thought was really cool. They brought a girl on stage. They were looking for like a guitarist to play a couple of riffs with them, and they're like, searching through the pit, and they get this girl up, and she like plays a couple of riffs on the guitar, and then they actually ended up giving her the guitar.
What?
I was like, what? Like, that's... And it, like, she, like... The whole crowd popped off for her because it was such a cool moment. And Green Day is one of the bands that I think just really knocks it out of the park when it comes to, like, crowd interaction. And the show opened with Bohemian Rhapsody.
Nuh-uh.
They opened with... but it wasn't them playing it. It, like, just played over the loudspeakers as, like, the opening for their show. So the crowd was already pretty, like, juiced up by the time that because they took the stage almost immediately after the song finished.
Oh, that's so sick.
So the whole crowd was singing along to Bohemian Rhapsody, and then, bam, Green Day's like, all right, we're going to just rip American Idiot right now.
Wow.
So it was pretty electrifying. Listen, it was the first time that I'd been to a large public gathering since the beginning of the dark times, and it felt good to be able to go outside. That was nice.
It sounds nice. A nice, cool California night weather, little Green Day.
Yeah, really, really not many complaints outside of the traffic. And nobody uses blinkers when they switch lanes in this country anymore. I mean, come on, what is going on with these drivers here?
All right, then we could do a whole 2 or 3 part episode on how annoying people are every day and all the bad stuff they do. But for today, we will keep that very specifically pointed at Puma and Wada and people in California. The bad traffic people.
And yeah, you're right. Wagging the finger to people who are falsely selling expensive games just for the sake of creating a pricing crisis for collectors.
Yeah, they're just, I don't think they're making, I don't know if they're making the bubble on purpose, but they're definitely just trying to make money themselves, which is creating a bubble. But that's what I believe. But either way, they're greedy. But we're having a nice moment talking about traffic and aggravation. I don't want to get mad talking about these people again.
You got a tip of the hat for us, Tone?
Oh, I do. I have 2 tips, actually.
Ooh.
First tip of the hat is to that Carl Jobs person who made the video completely destroying these people. And the second tip of my hat is to Nintendo's help section on their website, because I was able to fix my Castle Crashers game and select different users. Yes, yeah, a little continuation from last week, baby. We bring it back, baby. Yeah, it was completely my fault. It was completely
Was it an easy fix?
Yeah, it was exactly what it said on the error message when it said this is not the primary console. I was like, what are you talking about? Didn't think that before I sold my first Switch and I transferred all my data onto my girlfriend's Switch, and I thought if I ever get a Switch again, I'll have all the save data. Boom, I get a Switch during COVID. Boom, I transfer the data back on. Bada bing, I think everything's all set. Little do I know that my primary console is hers. So I had to go onto her Switch and just basically go into you just go into the eShop, click on your profile that you want to enter in. I scroll down, and it's like, deregister, this is the primary console. Boom, it says whichever console you use to sign on to the eShop next will automatically become the primary console. Boom, go on there with my Switch, bada bing. We are ready
Bada boom,
to play
baby.
Castle Crashers. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. Guess what? We didn't even play it. We've been playing nothing but Monkey Target and Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Can we agree, though, that Monkey Target is the definitive way to play Super Monkey Ball?
Yes. Almost certainly.
I was going to say, I don't know if we'll ever have a Super Monkey Ball episode, but it's Monkey Target for me.
Oh, we gotta have an episode. That'd be sick. That'd be a good episode. That'd be a good episode. Yeah, I would like that, actually. In Super Monkey Ball 2, because that's the Monkey Target we play on, I don't know if there's Monkey Target in the first one, but we play in the second one. There are 12 mini-games. 6 are unlocked already. Monkey Target is one of them. And then to unlock the other 6, you need play points. We could talk about all this in the Monkey Ball episode. Hint, hint. Just saying. And but you need 2,500 for each one, and they're not that easy to get, the play points. They're easy in the sense they have to play, but it's not like every level you get 100 or whatever. You really have to. I had to go through like 4 worlds to get enough points. So I broke my code of silence not playing single player games because I'm too like awkward and weird to. I sat there last night for like an hour and beat some of these levels that I was like, oh man, this is tough. But you really get lost in a game, and I really enjoyed it. I got pretty deep in it, and I got enough points to unlock a mini game. And the good thing about it is you unlock the game, but then when you're done with the game, you just turn it off, and then you don't have to collect more points, because when you turn the game back on, you didn't save, so you have to play points again. So you could just buy a different game and try all of them out.
That's smart. There you go.
Yeah, so now I feel like I have them all. But you just have to give it a little reset when you want to change games. Not a big hassle.
No, and it saves you a ton of time in the sense that you don't have to get a whole bunch of play points.
Exactly. If I want to go back and do that, maybe I will, but for right now, I don't really want to. And the Monkey Baseball game is pretty fire. I remember that one as a kid being good, and I played it last night.
Is that in Monkey Ball 2?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I actually never played Monkey Ball 2. I've only played the first one.
Oh, really? Oh, Monkey Ball 2 is just as good.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of really good things about it, so.
Yeah, I'm excited for the new one coming out for the Switch. I'm excited for a lot of new Switch games coming out, actually. I got like 4 games on my list coming out by like October, I want to say.
Yeah, I think the game I'm looking most forward to that's coming out in the immediate future is probably the new WarioWare game.
Me too, yeah, that's one of them.
So that one should be a lot of fun. There's a demo out on the eShop right now. I haven't played it yet, but it's a WarioWare game for the Switch. I mean, it's gonna be so fun.
Oh yeah, you don't even need the demo. That's like an auto buy. And I think I've said this before, but I have a feeling in my heart that game will be rare at some point. Just a call out now.
Oh, like physical copies, you mean?
I think so. Yeah, I think Wario games have especially the WarioWare games, Game and Wario for the Wii U is like pretty expensive now, and I don't know. Just have a feeling about that one too. Maybe I'm wrong.
TBD.
But we'll see. TBD, baby. And until, it's funny because I'm saying I'm hyped for games to come out, but when they come out, I'm sure I'm not going to play them. Like, Sonic Colors Ultimate Edition is coming out for the Switch. I'm going to get that. I'll probably never play it. When WarioWare comes out, I hope that I play it. And Monkey Ball, I'll definitely play. And I know I'm definitely going to play the Mario Party when it comes out for the Switch, the new one. So
that's coming out in October, right?
Yeah, it's coming out soon.
Ooh, that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have to talk about that for sure.
Definitely will. Yeah, I'm actually excited for games right now that aren't Pokemon games. But yeah, aside from that, it's mostly been, Monkey Ball. And have I played any other games this week? What have you played this week?
So, the only games that I've played were on my Twitch channel at Build a Fajita. I was playing a little bit of Super Mario Sunshine, and I'm trying to do a 100% run of the game. So, I'm at like 88, 89 shines, and the rest of the shines are mostly going to be some of the blue coin challenges. So I'm not really looking forward to that because I know collecting the blue coins can be a real hassle in the game because there's about 100 too many of them.
Oof.
Each level has 30 blue coins, which is just insane to me.
Wow.
I'm also really excited because September 6th, which is this coming Monday, is my 1-year anniversary of streaming on Twitch, and I'm going to be playing a ROM hack of Banjo-Kazooie.
Yo.
And it is a ROM hack called Banjo-Kazooie The Jiggies of Time. And you basically get to play as Banjo and Kazooie in a Ocarina of Time world map. So you get to play through like various levels in that game as Banjo and Kazooie, which I think is going to be such a wild ride.
That sounds insane.
Yeah, so I'm super pumped to try that one out. I think it'll be a really good time. If you guys are around, head over to twitch.tv/buildafajita, and I'll be there September 6th, which is this coming Monday, 5 p.m. Pacific. Not for not to shamelessly plug myself.
Hey man, 1 year. It's cool. That's really cool, and I'll say congrats on that day unless I forget. And yeah, I'm happy you're doing something really cool.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. It's been a fun ride. Well, is there anything else you think that we should talk about before wrapping this bad boy up?
Oh, I can't believe I forgot to mention this. Are you kidding me? Screw the people at WADA and Heritage Auctions. They are bad people. They are liars and scammers. And shout out to Carl Jobs. And I don't think I said that. So now I feel like we could put a bow tie on this bitch and wrap it up. And when I say bitch, I don't mean, putting all right, we gotta cut all this. Thank you so much. See you next week.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed listening to our show as much as we enjoyed chatting about video games for you guys. We are here every week. You can follow us on Apple. You can follow us on Spotify, and we even upload to YouTube. If you do follow us on Apple, please give us a 5-star review. It really helps with visibility for the show. If you can give a review, that would be even better. Please like us and subscribe on YouTube. And follow us on Twitter at Games of Our Pod. You can follow us on Instagram at Games of Our Pod. You can follow Tony, our wonderful co-host, at The Poker Rapper on Instagram. And you can follow myself, Bill, at Bill the Fajita on Twitter and Twitch and Instagram as well. Thank you guys again so much for listening. It means so much to us that you guys have been able to show us the support and love that you have, and we can't wait to talk about video games again next week.
I love you.